Good morning. It's September 4th, and this is your daily brief in science. Here's everything you need to know. Emerging carbon capture technologies, such as mineralizing CO2 in basalt formations, could increase storage capacity, but experts warn that relying solely on CCS is insufficient. The study emphasizes that CCS should primarily target hard-to-decarbonize sectors like cement, aviation, and agriculture, rather than prolonging fossil fuel infrastructure. Carbon storage is a limited resource that must be managed responsibly with a focus on reducing fossil fuel emissions directly. Researchers estimate a global capacity for geologic CO2 storage at approximately 1,460 gigatons, considering risks like seismic activity and environmental protection. An interactive website has been developed to help policymakers and the public explore regional storage potential, supporting informed decision-making. Storage capacity varies geographically, with countries like the US and Canada having more suitable sites, while European nations face restrictions, possibly requiring storage in Africa. Significant regional disparities exist. Nations such as Russia, China, Brazil, and Australia have substantial reserves, whereas India and many EU countries face higher risks and constraints. The study suggests that most of this capacity could be exhausted by around 2125, with the potential to be exceeded before 2200 if climate policies are delayed or ineffective. Actual storage capacity is limited and should be regarded as a rare resource, requiring careful management to prevent environmental harm. Utilizing the full capacity of underground storage could potentially reduce global temperatures by about 0.7 degrees Celsius, but this benefit should be preserved for future generations. The research, led by scientists at the International Institute for Applied Systems Analysis, focused on low-risk sedimentary basins, excluding high-risk sites with leakage or seismic risks. A recent study in Nature revealed that Earth's underground CO2 storage capacity is 10 times less than previously estimated, significantly limiting CCS as a climate mitigation tool. Risks such as leakage, earthquakes, and groundwater contamination have led to a much smaller safe storage capacity than earlier models suggested. Experts emphasize that carbon storage should be viewed as an exhaustible resource, with responsible management especially important for fossil fuel-rich nations. Decisions on storage use must consider fairness, responsibility, and intergenerational justice, with storage capacity seen as a global, common resource. While some fossil fuel-rich countries could utilize depleted reservoirs, overall capacity remains limited. Although future capacity appears ample, technological, political, and economic challenges could restrict large-scale deployment. Over-reliance on CCS might hinder efforts to reduce ongoing emissions, as current models often overestimate safe storage potential by ignoring risks. Geological storage should be regarded as a scarce resource, primarily for halting and reversing warming rather than offsetting emissions. Deploying negative emission technologies like direct air capture could potentially reverse up to 0.7 degrees Celsius of warming, highlighting their importance. Large-scale CCS depends heavily on policy support, risk management, and addressing challenges like leakage and seismic risks. Policymakers need explicit plans that balance fossil fuel use, carbon removal, and storage, recognizing that geologic storage is finite and must be managed prudently. Experts recommend using underground storage sparingly, prioritizing zero-emission energy sources and negative emissions to effectively manage atmospheric CO2. Strategic use of CCS is essential, but over-reliance could lead to exceeding storage limits, constraining climate mitigation efforts. Currently, CCS captures only a small fraction of emissions, with economically viable storage capacity much lower than potential. The revised safe storage capacity was determined by excluding high-risk sites such as seismic zones or urban areas. Leakage from storage sites could cause environmental harm, including groundwater contamination and toxic metal release, underscoring the need for careful site selection. Experts emphasize that limited storage capacity requires careful planning across sectors and generations to avoid irreversible impacts. Integrating safe, targeted carbon storage with rapid fossil fuel reduction is crucial for meeting climate goals like those in the Paris Agreement. The study underscores that carbon storage should be treated as a scarce resource that must be deployed strategically to maximize climate benefits and prevent overuse. Exceeding storage limits could only reverse about 0.4 degrees Celsius of warming, highlighting the importance of managing this resource wisely. Critics point out that CCS is expensive, underdelivers, and may prolong reliance on fossil fuels, making immediate emissions reductions even more critical. Global carbon storage is currently minimal, with only about 0.05 gigatons stored annually, illustrating the gap between potential and actual deployment. CCS captures a tiny fraction of global emissions, emphasizing that it cannot be relied upon as a primary mitigation strategy. Current models tend to overestimate safe storage capacity by ignoring risks, and CCS alone won't keep warming below 2 degrees Celsius. It involves capturing CO2 from industrial sources and injecting it underground for permanent storage. Experts warn that significant storage limitations and economic challenges mean CCS cannot be relied upon solely, reinforcing the need for comprehensive climate policies. Listening to certain types of music may help alleviate motion sickness symptoms. Recent research involving 30 participants used a driving simulator to induce car sickness and monitored brain activity. The study found that listening to joyful and soft music reduced symptoms by approximately 57%. It also highlighted the need for further research with larger sample sizes and real-world testing to understand how individual musical preferences and different travel modes influence effectiveness. In the UK, up to 20% of adults experience car sickness, which can be caused by factors such as reading, using devices, winding roads, and poor air circulation. Motion sickness occurs when signals from the vestibular system, eyes, and joints conflict, leading to confusion about body position during movement. Over 7 million people in Britain experience motion sickness into adulthood. The RAC recommends practical measures, such as avoiding reading or device use during travel, looking at the horizon, ensuring good airflow, and driving smoothly to reduce symptoms. The study also noted that listening to sad music with a slow tempo and low pitches might worsen motion sickness by drawing attention to discomfort and impairing emotional regulation. Kerala has seen 86 cases of amoebic meningoencephalitis over the past 2 years, resulting in 21 deaths. However, the state has made significant progress in patient outcomes through proactive health measures. Early detection, treatment, and prevention strategies, such as well chlorination of water and public awareness campaigns, have reduced the mortality rate from around 97% to roughly 23 to 24%. A notable case involved a 17-year-old boy from Kollam, who was the first in the world to fully recover from a rare dual infection of amoebic meningoencephalitis and Aspergillus flavus. His treatment included 2 surgeries at Thiruvananthapuram Medical College and intensive care over 3 months. Microbiological tests confirmed both infections, allowing targeted therapy. The initial diagnosis was made at Alappuzha Medical College after his condition worsened following a pond swim, leading to his transfer to Thiruvananthapuram. The treatment involved a multidisciplinary team, including neurosurgeons, microbiologists, and infectious disease specialists, led by Dr. Sunil Kumar. After more than 6 weeks of intensive therapy, the boy was discharged in good health. His recovery highlights the importance of prompt diagnosis and aggressive treatment, transforming what is typically a fatal prognosis, given the global mortality rate of about 99%, into a survival story. Kerala's systematic approach, including early detection and preventive measures, has played a crucial role in managing these rare infections and setting a global precedent. Achieve Life Sciences is making progress with its flagship drug, cytisinicline, a plant-based alkaloid aimed at treating nicotine dependence. The company recently submitted an application to the FDA for smoking cessation, following positive results from Phase 3 trials. This submission was made in June 2025 after successful safety and efficacy studies. Cytisinicline has received FDA Breakthrough Therapy designation, emphasizing its potential to address a significant treatment gap for nicotine addiction, especially among e-cigarette users. Achieve plans to expand its development pipeline to include vaping cessation, supported by ongoing clinical and regulatory efforts. The company completed a Phase 2 vaping cessation study and held an FDA end-of-Phase 2 meeting to explore future indications. Tobacco use remains a major health issue in the U.S., with approximately 29 million adult smokers and over 17 million e-cigarette users, including youth. Achieve's CEO Rick Stewart will participate in investor conferences in New York on September 8th and 11th, 2025, including a webcast fireside chat. Recent insider trading activity shows company executives purchasing shares, which may indicate strong internal confidence. The company highlights the potential of cytisinicline to help millions of smokers and e-cigarette users, noting that there are currently no FDA-approved treatments specifically for e-cigarette cessation. The broader context underscores the health risks associated with tobacco and nicotine use, making the development of new cessation therapies an important goal. Scientists at Kyoto University's ICMS have developed a synthetic protein named Crunch that aids in removing harmful or unwanted cells from the body. Crunch functions by using sensors to detect specific surface proteins on target cells, such as cancer cells or overactive immune cells. Once identified, it connects these cells to phagocytes, which then engulf and digest them, mimicking the body's natural waste removal process known as efferocytosis. This engineered protein targets living, pathogenic cells without directly killing them, offering a new approach to treatments. Unlike current therapies like CAR T cells or antibody drugs, Crunch can be administered via simple injection and customized by modifying its sensors. The research team demonstrated in mouse experiments that Crunch successfully eliminated engineered cancer cells and immune cells involved in autoimmune diseases like lupus. These experiments showed that Crunch reduced disease symptoms and promoted health by accelerating the removal of harmful cells. The approach leverages the body's natural immune mechanisms, potentially providing a safer and more precise alternative to existing immunotherapies. Researchers aim to improve Crunch's safety, stability, and effectiveness while addressing manufacturing and regulatory challenges. Future developments focus on adapting Crunch for various diseases by modifying its targeting sensors, which can be derived from antibodies or CAR T cells. Overall, Crunch represents a versatile platform in synthetic biology and immunology, with the potential to transform treatments for cancer and autoimmune disorders. This has been your daily brief in science. To read more about these stories, follow the links in the episode bio. You can also subscribe to these updates via email at www.brief.news. For more daily podcasts about the topics you love, visit brief.news/podcasts. Tune in tomorrow. We'll be back with everything you need to know.